What a week this was. Where do we begin? Lead British International School was shut down after a viral video that made every single reasonable Nigerian cringe and demand justice for the bullied girl. The FCC chairman made some revelations that made many of us Google the cost of school fees for the most expensive schools in the world. President Tinubu left for the Netherlands and then to Riyadh for several engagements, and the issue of state police pitched the Inspector General of Police up against quite a lot of people. And then he recanted. Well, his representative recanted. It was all really confusing, but stay tuned to our Abuja wrap where we bring you those details. Meanwhile, we follow the FCCPC on their enforcement exercise this week in our focus on the FCT and follow up on those developments with the chairman of the commission in our interview segments. This is Dateline Abuja. Hello and welcome to Dateline Abuja. I'm Kayla Magwa. Let's begin with a rundown of all those stories we talked about. What happened this week in the nation's capital? It's time for our Abuja wrap.
The Minister of Police Affairs and the Inspector General of Police were not on the same page regarding the creation of state police. While the Minister of Police Affairs believes that state police will enhance community policing, the Inspector General of Police is of the opinion that Nigeria is not mature enough for state police. Both men were guests at a policy dialogue on state police organized by the House of Representatives and the Policy and Legal Advocacy Center in Abuja.
The submission of the leadership of the Nigerian police force that Nigeria is yet to mature and ready for the establishment of state-controlled police. This is due to the underlying reasons. One, there is no adequate resources in place for police infrastructure. Again, there are potential for abuse of power by state political leadership.
Following a backlash, the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of ICT, AIG Ben Okolo, who represented the IGP at the police dialogue on state police, has clarified a statement credited to him on the matter, which drew reactions from many quarters. Mr. Okolo says his statement at the one-day event that Nigeria is not ready for a decentralized police force is a personal view and does not reflect the stance of the police force.
Recall that yesterday, 22nd April 2024, I represented the force at a conference on national security and state police at the Continental Hotel, where I made expression of some opinion inadvertently attributed to the Inspector General of Police. Those expressions are my personal opinion to stimulate discussion. They do not represent the position of the IG nor the force leadership. The Inspector General of Police in due course will make the position of the force on this known.
Lead British International School Abuja has been shut down. This is following a viral video that surfaced on social media where a student whose name is said to be Namtira was being bullied and assaulted by her fellow students. During an exclusive interview with the Minister of Women Affairs, Mrs. Uju Kennedy Ohaneye, following her visit to the school, she revealed that an investigation has been opened up into the school's activities, and pending the outcome, the school will be shut down for about 3 days.
We've closed them for 3 days. By Monday, they should be back to school. But there are consequences. The school must lose something to be able to learn their lessons. The school expelled the students, which I am not comfortable with. I won't allow the students to be expelled. You know, when you err, you punish the child, but give the child another chance.
President Bola Tinubu has asked the judiciary to seek new directions and focus on creating a new justice system that will respond to the needs of Nigerians. He made the comments at the National Judicial Summit in Abuja, where he was represented by the Vice President, Kashim Shettima. He urged them to maintain public trust, transparency, and integrity.
Accordingly, urge the leadership of all justice sector institutions to seek a new direction and focus on outcomes by creating a justice system that fully responds to the needs of our citizens, one that serves Nigerians now and for generations to come. The impact of your reform efforts should be visible in terms of improved access to justice, strengthen integrity of justice sector institutions, increase timeliness and quality of justice delivery, accountability, and transparency of the system, and ultimately improve public trust and confidence in the judicial system. I therefore urge you all to use the platform to identify and seek solutions to gaps in the regulatory, operational, and institutional challenges that have long inhibited justice sector institutions from delivering on their mandates.
The National Security Advisor Malam Nur Ribadu has reaffirmed the federal government's backing for regional and international efforts to combat terrorism and insecurity across Africa. He made these remarks at the conclusion of the two-day Africa Counterterrorism Summit in Abuja, where participants committed to enhancing collaborations to tackle terrorism. The summit, attended by African heads of government, UN representatives, and foreign mission heads in Nigeria, aimed to strengthen regional and global cooperation in fighting terrorism.
The importance of African-led solutions and community engagement in countering terrorism and preventing violent extremism was discussed. The empowerment of youth as key drivers of positive change was a central theme, highlighting their role in promoting peace and security. We also underscored the imperative for regional cooperation and international partnership, enhanced collaboration among African states, regional organizations, and international allies is crucial for leveraging our collective strength against evolving threats. Reflecting on the outcomes of our discussions, it is clear that while the challenges are daunting, they are surmountable. With a holistic approach that encompasses robust security measures and comprehensive strategies aimed at tackling the root cause of terrorism.
The federal government plans to roll out more palliatives for Nigerians as part of measures to cushion the impacts of the present economic downturn and to make it reach those it is meant for. The authorities say 20% of the palliatives will be routed through traditional and faith-based institutions. Vice President Kashim Shettima hinted this at a one-day high-level dialogue of faith leaders on nutrition in Nigeria.
This week, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, sealed 4U Supermarket, formerly known as Amigo Supermarket, a major retail outlet in Abuja, and was sealed over sharp practices by the management and staff. The FCCPC also sealed the supermarket as located at the China General Chamber of Commerce in Abuja, following allegations of discriminatory practices against Nigerians. Please watch this. On the 19th of April 2024, officials of the Investigation and Enforcement Unit of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, arrive at the 4U Supermarket in Wuse 2 area of the nation's capital. An argument immediately ensues over the team's presence at the supermarket.
Who gave you the tag you sticked on our way coming here? I saw you tag this on our way coming here. Let's go. Come, let's go. I saw him. No, I just not wait. Let me go. I'll show you the price. Whatever I remember. No problem. Just bring another one. Bring another 5 kg.
The team swings into action, checking the prices of foodstuff on the shelves. They notice varied prices on displayed goods and note that there are expired products on the shelves. The team discovers some rebranded rice products of some manufacturers who are no longer into production.
You are aware that these products from the first, your other shop, are suspected to be brands that are fake, substandard, because these companies do not produce these products anymore in Nigeria. It shows now that you actually are aware, and the practice is intended to defraud and to deceive consumers. You were informed from the other office, if you were not there, that these products were filled with rice wool, and you proceeded to continue to deceive and hide this huge number here.
Some of the things don't even have price attached to them at all. So we are at the mercy of the whoever is operating the counter, you can put input whatever price you want there, and that's what you have to pay. That's not acceptable. That's why we're here, so that would show that that practice should no longer continue. In addition, we found out another thing that really baffles us. Everybody knows that Stallion Group has been comatose for a very long time. We know that there is no Kappa rice, yet we found Stallion and Kappa rice in this supermarket. What's happening is that this some people bag their own local rice, pretending that it is the same Stallion or Kappa that people are used to, that people are buying, which is wrong. You are still frisking consumers. You are collecting from them what is not due, because what you are selling, what you pretend to be selling is not what you are selling. It's not what is in that bag.
The management of the supermarket responds to the discoveries by the Commission.
I'm surprised that cap price and stallion rice are no longer existing in the market. The company has stopped production, but unfortunately to us, the suppliers, they're still bringing it to our outlet, which we got to know that we're not supposed to sell them.
The agency then moves to seal up the popular store despite pleas from its officials. 3 days later, the team visits a supermarket located at the China General Chamber of Commerce in Abuja. This visit was prompted by a video circulating on social media where Nigerians claimed they were denied entry into the store based on their nationality. On arrival at the location, the gatekeepers refused to open the gate without authorization from their bosses. After approximately 10 minutes, access to the compound was granted to the FCCPC team. Though the team was allowed into the premises, the management staff of the complex and the supermarket could not be reached. Eventually, the property manager appeared and attempted to explain the trending video, calling the reports of the situation a product of miscommunication.
I do good here and buy my things, you understand? So they have not obstructed me or they have not turned me back, they have not discriminated against me coming there.
You are a facility manager now,
yes.
So you have access.
Yeah, like other people too. If you can,
all the people who are working inside there.
Yes.
But people from outside, have you seen restriction?
No, I don't have that information.
That they have
nobody has reported to us that they have been turned back.
Yes.
You understand?
Probably. But there is a viral video now of somebody that came to the supermarket and was turned back because he is a Nigerian and that he cannot shop here.
Probably there is a misinformation, and that is why this the owner, the management of the supermarket, will be in the right position to answer the question.
Eventually, the FCCPC team was led to the security room to preview the CCTV footage. It was discovered that someone that looked like the owner of the supermarket had fled the complex at about 8:29 a.m., which led to the suspicion that the sting operation may have been leaked.
The mission of the commission is response to the video that went viral, where consumers, particularly Nigerian consumers, were allegedly being discriminated and preventing access into a supermarket located in Nigeria, here in Abuja. The essence of the surveillance and the investigation that we conducted today is to verify the allegations and the content of that viral video. On arrival, we noticed that the supermarket, which is right behind me, was sealed and padlocked externally. Enquiries have shown that, yes, as at this morning, this supermarket was open and people were here. CCTV footage also shows that at about 8:29 a.m., 2 vehicles departed from these premises, allegedly containing the owner of the supermarket, whom we have been able to identify by name, and we have our contact details. Now, the summons, of course, since she's not around and the place is locked, is to serve notice on her to appear before the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission by Wednesday.
The owner of the store was given until Wednesday, the 24th of April at 11 a.m. to report to the commission to clarify the issues noted. The FCCPC's enforcement exercise in parts of the nation's capital has continued as promised when the Sahad stores in Garki were sealed on February the 16th, 2024 for price gouging. With the naira gaining against the dollar and the prices of some goods and services refusing to drop as expected, the FCCPC has its work cut out for it to ensure consumers actually get value for the goods and services they pay for. My guest on the program is the Acting Chief Executive Officer of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, Mr. Adamu Abdullahi. Apart from the details on the sealing of these stores, we have a lot to unpack when it comes to servicing consumers in Nigeria. From arbitrary billing by discos to indiscriminate price hike on food items and advocacy against public and underage smoking. This particular enforcement exercise is also in focus and interference in the discharge of their duty. Please watch this. Welcome to Dateline Abuja again.
Thank you very much. It's nice being here again.
So let's talk a bit about this enforcement that's been going on. I want to get down to it. The woman who runs that supermarket, has she come, because she was supposed to be there on Wednesday.
Yeah,
has she come to the FCCPC?
Yesterday was Wednesday. Yes, she came to FCCPC in time yesterday. We went to the supermarket along with her. She opened it up, went inside, and the discoveries were just enormous. Chinese embassy was there represented. The China Chamber of Commerce and Industry was also there. And all the products are labeled in yen, and that's the only currency they accept there, yen. That's against the law in Nigeria. You don't sell products not in naira. Everything you sell in Nigeria is in Nigeria, should be in Nigerian currency. And then issue of discrimination, that they only allow Chinese into the supermarket, has been confirmed. We have now instructed that she must put up a notice in front of that shop that says everybody can go into the supermarket and shop. And also the issue of the yen and the display of prices, we're discussing with her to put things right. At the same time, we're also discussing sanctions, of course, because a wrong has been done and bad behavior leads to consequences. So we'll look at our law and find out what these consequences are and apply to the full wrath of the law.
I've heard you talk about these consequences. It's about 10 million naira fine that's for each of the owners.
Yes, and then 10% turnover of last year's turnover for the company. Diplomatic relationship is different from interference. That does not stop us from doing our work. It's just an intervention, so to speak. Of course, wherever you have an embassy, the embassy is there to protect the interests of its own citizens. And this thing happened in the premises of the China Chambers of Commerce and Industry.
Just so people can understand, that place, yeah. I know this, it's in Lugbe, it's along the airport road.
Along the airport road, yes.
Now, that Chamber of Commerce, is that place considered Chinese government territory? Does it have the same status as an embassy,
in fact, it's even a rented place. It's owned by a Chinese businessman, quite all right. And it has a housing estate along with it. The housing estate has both Nigerians and Chinese in it. So the argument that they were having or giving as of yesterday was that the supermarket is solely for the use of the people that are in the housing estate. But we have found out differently, because they prevent people from the housing estate in as much as you are not a Chinese person from entering the supermarket also. And we have investigated that, and we have found out they're indulging that practice.
Now let's take a look at the other supermarket. That is For You still sealed, or
no? For You has never been sealed either.
Okay, so it wasn't sealed as well.
It was the stores that we sealed. That's where they keep their things. What do they call it now?
The storeroom.
The storeroom, yes, but the storeroom also contains their frozen items. So they have been on our necks over the weekend, and as from Monday until yesterday. So yesterday we went ahead, opened the store, looked in, and found out if there were any further things that were there, like the rice we were talking about,
Just because these
the
particular
expired
brands
products.
of rice, they're actually very popular. Could you talk to us about some of the brands of rice that you saw there that could not have been? I'm looking for the right word to use because according to your office, these particular brands of rice are out of business.
Yes.
So if you see it in a store,
it's just deceptive.
Is it fake?
Deceptive practice. Yes.
Is it possible
fake.
that it's old stock?
It may be old stock. That's why maybe some of it has these weevils in it. Because we found some bags during the last raid in which the weevils were more than the rice. And we are very surprised that people were still going to buy that thing at 15,000 naira plus for the 10 kg. So essentially what we are saying is one of the two. We are still investigating because we are still talking to the management of the supermarket trying to find out what the source of that rice, where do they buy it? Do they bag it themselves? Or do they buy it from a supplier? If they do, let's know the supplier so that we can go and find out from the supplier how he gets that rice. But we have, in the course of that investigation, we also found out there are some manufacturers that have gone into the supply of these bags, sacks of this rice that are stamped with stallion rice. So you can go anywhere, buy the empty bag, come and bag your own rice in it, and pass it deceptively as stallion rice or cap rice.
So are those the two brands? You just mentioned two brands.
Yeah,
are those
these are two brands? These are two brands in question. And these are two brands we are evacuating. Right now, our operatives in Port Harcourt went into another supermarket in Port Harcourt and we found a lot of it. I was showing you photographs. And that one too has been evacuated. Because as far as we are concerned, they are dealing in deceptive practices.
What's going to happen next for you supermarkets?
Now that we have evacuated the rice, and as I told you, we are looking at the source. Let us know where the source of that rice is and block it. Once we achieve that, then the issue of sanctions now comes into it. Look at our books, find out deceptive, misleading, false practices in supermarket business. What does it entail, and what payments are they going to make? We look at that, and of course, we apply sanctions.
What's the maximum sanction?
10 million per director of the company, as well as 10% of turnover.
How do citizens complain to you? Is there some number or just the website that we can go to?
Yeah, that contact at FCCPC.gov.ng is still there, up and running.
FCCPC.gov.ng.
Yes, you can use both the website, which is www.fcc.gov.ng, or the contacts at FCCPC. And then all our social media platforms are there, X, Instagram, at FCCPC. That's all.
Many people would like to understand what's happened with Sahad stores. You said you were going to do weekly checks or so. How has it been? Have they stopped those practices?
Yes.
Is everything okay now?
Over 95% compliant.
95% compliant.
You should clap for us.
Okay.
Yes, over 95% compliance. As of yesterday, we got a 4-page letter from MultiChoice telling us the reason that led to this price increase. What we need to do is to bring in NCC, that's the sector regulator of telecommunications, and maybe even MBC, the Broadcasting Commission, and of course, the MultiChoice. Sit down and look at all these variables that they brought up that caused the rise. At a glance, I saw things like the cost of electricity, the cost of running gensets nowadays, cost of dollar for spare parts, whatever. So let's go through these items individually and find out how they have affected their operations based on that. But at the same time, you are not supposed to go because you are the only provider of that service in the market and abuse your dominant position in the market. And by and large, that's the claim of that's what they are doing, because it's the dominant player in this market. Everybody has to, without choice, go through them for cable television. So that's why they are doing what they are doing. So if by any chance we find out or we can confirm that that's what they are doing, again, we'll go by the law and do what we are supposed to do.
Well, that's all the time that we have for today's interview. But I want to thank you very much.
My pleasure always.
For being with us on Dateline Abuja. Thanks for showing up whenever we call you.
Yes, do I have a choice?
You don't.
No, not called. This is a summons.
You used to be one of us, so I think you understand.
So since I belong, I'm a member of the family.
Yes.
So I understand.
Well, thank you so much again for being with us on the program. And good luck.
Thank you. I need it. Thank you very much.
thanks to my guest and to everyone who spoke to us today on the program. When we pray to live in interesting times, we must be ready for the stress and the responsibility that comes with that. We must hold these sellers accountable in these times we are in. So please look out for any irregularities in your stores and report them to the FCCPC. And don't worry, you will be anonymous. Meanwhile, please share the happenings in your neighborhood with us using the social media handles showing right now on your screens. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kayla Magwa. See you next time.